Good evening, everyone. Wait, why? Why can't I hear? For some reason, you're muted, right? You know
I
that,
thought
right?
I unmuted myself just now, but
No, it's
that
okay.
big
That's all right.
intro, scale it down to a two now. Welcome back
Yeah.
to UPRE. Tonight we are covering Harry Potter 5 and 6, otherwise known as Order of the Phoenix, and Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince.
Yeah, it was
Tonight,
pretty cool.
tonight I have again with me Muggle, my last and only friend. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic, and honestly, like the unmuggling is happening here because I'm getting more and more into these characters and more into this stuff. 5 and 6 was a roller coaster for me.
Wasn't it?
Let's talk about. Yes, it was because there's a lot going on in these movies. And first of all, I just like to say, shout out to Professor Xavier slash Dumbledore because man, I was getting so many X-Men vibes from this guy.
Ah,
Like
you were getting
this,
X-Men vibes. Okay.
yes, so much X-Men from Dumbledore. He really felt like Professor Xavier in these movies. But yeah. Just got
It
to say
was
that. Put
feeling
that up.
pretty mystical and magical.
Hmm.
So just to recap as briefly as possible, because this was 4 hours worth of movies. As we're starting to near the end of the series, we're
Hmm.
just getting more and more details, more in depth, less kind of side stories, more straightforward,
Facts.
which I love. So here we are, and it's summertime in London. Apparently, that still means gray and kind of chilly looking, cold.
Yeah.
And Harry's sitting at a child's park playground. He's 14. And when I was 14, I don't remember going to the playground unless it was to do drugs. Now, that
Wait,
being
isn't
said,
he like 17 at this point?
no, he's still 14. He's still 14. He just turned 14.
Mm,
And yeah, all that stuff that happened beforehand, he was 11, 12, and 13. Now he's
wow.
14.
Wow. Okay.
Um, so he's starting to get more angsty. He's already had a crush, but he's working on that and sealing that deal. But you know what? He's had enough of Dudley at this point. And
Yes.
Dudley and his little gang approaches, and he's like, your SAWFT soft, and you're not about to try me. What you about to do? You're about to do nothing. And so the friends are like, yeah, Dudley, yeah, bully him because that's cool. Oh yeah, he lost his parents. That's so funny. Meanwhile, I'm just like, yo, like, how long are you gonna harp on the fact that your cousin? First of all, he's your cousin, and you dog him out in front of your friends. That's wild.
Mm-hmm. Fact.
Secondly, you're dogging him out about being an orphan. Like, that's pretty crazy. I can't believe that. And at this point, it's like, Dudley, you already know that Harry
Y-
doesn't have time for you and that
Word.
he is magical. So it's kind
These
of weird
British
that
kids
he's
are.
still pushing it. Yeah, man, it was really harsh.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, shit's going down, and a storm starts a brewing. Harry starts to get defensive. He grabs his wand out like, "Bitch, back the hell up!" And
Mm-hmm.
they're laughing him out. A wand, and I'm like, "Yo, show them what this wand can do. I know you're not allowed to or whatever, but can't you like summon some snakes or something like that? I don't know, something,
Wow.
anything to defend himself. What do you think?"
I mean, he's not allowed to, and clearly we're about to see why he's not allowed to. But
He
you
did
know,
magic in the very first movie,
well,
and they
yeah, no,
and they
but he didn't
accepted
know.
him.
And no, he didn't know.
Mm,
Yeah, he didn't know. You know what I
touche
mean? But
is a
that,
good point.
but mind you, he was fighting the Dementors. They how you all of a sudden show up away from Azkaban? Like
Hey, yeah, we
like
discussed that last episode. These
like
guys
how
are just
you?
allowed to freely roam wherever they
Yep,
feel and
yep.
just do anything. And to me, it seems a little bit like there's some corruption happening in the Ministry of Magic.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of get a
Mm-hmm.
little glean of that at the end of the last film, and now we know it for sure because the Ministry of Magic in this film, they're like from top to bottom, Harry is a liar up until maybe the final 10 minutes of the movie. They're plastering him all over the news. They're spreading rumors about him and
Mm-hmm.
just trying to discredit him, as he's trying to say, hey, he who shall not be named is back and we should probably do
Mm-hmm.
something about it.
Yep. And everybody's discrediting him. But there's a ton going on from the inside, especially
Mhm.
from the pink lady. Um,
Okay, we're gonna get into that because that one,
yeah,
that's pretty, I don't know, or
yeah.
whatever. So she's well, okay, whatever. Let's go back.
No,
So
because she's
he
the
pulls out the
main one
wand.
in the ministry. That's like she's like the main one in the Senate that starts hating.
She's
Nope.
definitely the main antagonist of this film. And that sounds wild because the big bad is Lord Voldemort, but for
Mm-hmm.
the majority of this film, like she's painted as the antagonist. She's torturing kids in detention. She's coming up with all these rules, and it's almost oppressive. Her presence on the Hogwarts grounds, from the
Mm-hmm.
top down, like she's taking it there with everybody. But whatever. Let's go back a little bit. So he pulls out the wand. He fights off Dementors who came out of nowhere and started attacking him and Dudley. And for that reason, when they escape finally and get home, get Dudley safe, Dudley's parents are pissed off and like, Harry, you whatever you are.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as they get in there, Al drops off a letter and is like, you're expelled. Like, you're not
Yep.
allowed to do any magic outside of grounds. You already know that.
Mm-hmm.
So you're expelled from Hogwarts, which leads him to be left by the Dudleys, and they're like, good riddance. We have to take care of our son, and that's what you get. Ha ha. So they drive away, leaving him alone
Wow.
in their house. As for me and my magic, I probably would have just, picked that whole house up and left at that point because they gave him free reign of the house at that juncture. And I'm like, what? If you hate him, I just don't get it. I don't get how they would just leave their most prized possession
I
because
agree.
we saw where they went for the vacation
Mm.
that other movie. It's, it's kind of whack. I don't know if it's a
Besides,
timeshare, but it needed money back.
who does the timeshare? Like,
Hey, a lot of people, you'd be surprised.
with so much negative press on timeshares, I would just avoid that at all costs at this point. Like,
Well,
it
as
just makes no sense. But anyway, back to the movie.
okay, yeah. So he gets that letter. Then suddenly, oh, surprise! Somebody's come to save you. It's all your old friends, the
Mm-hmm.
Weasleys and the Hermiones and the uh, um,
Jenny's and
Ginnies and all of them.
the whole
And
crew.
and surprise, they snatch him up and bring him to Sirius Black's house, which
Mm,
is, kind of laid out. Like he's a bachelor on the
facts.
run, and for some reason he has like a 17-bedroom house with
Mm-hmm.
with 3-4 floors. I'm surprised.
No,
I
but
mean,
he inherited it. Remember?
oh, did he?
Yeah.
I didn't know his family was like well off like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. He's like the black family is big. That's why the little troll guy was there
Okay.
hating on Harry, and he was like, he wasn't even nice to me when I was a kid. Like, yeah, that's like
Ah, okay. Well, I thought they were
that's a hand me down. He ain't got that money.
oh, okay.
He's not. That's
they
not
got
on
they
him.
got that old black money.
Yeah, exactly. That's old money. That's not. That's a trust fund baby right there.
Well, I'm not mad at that. I would have thought that those assets would have been seized when he went to Azkaban, but hey,
Hey,
secret off the map.
I
It could
mean,
be.
hey,
We're in the wizarding world. Anything's possible. You can
I
evade the
mean,
IRS at that
I'm sure.
point.
I'm sure. They put their stuff in Wizard LLCs and stuff. Anyway.
So they pull him up there. Everybody's having dinner again. We see a lot of nice family shots again. We get to see the kids interacting with each other. They're starting to get into their teenage years, so they're all kind of gross, probably smell bad. Flirting with other people and having
Hmm.
hormones for each other. Hormony Granger for
Yeah,
Ron.
word. Mm.
coming out the bathroom at the same time, brushing their teeth together. It's so
Mm-hmm.
sweet. Let's stay clean and happy.
For
Anyway,
real.
they're so surprised and happy to see Harry. Um, and you know, we just get straight into it after that. There's another somebody that's broken out of Azkaban. He's a infamous Death Eater. Uh, the kids are like kind of like listening in on the adults trying to get the tea. Like, we're all together. We weren't supposed to tell you or write you, tell you
Mm.
what's going on. There's been a hell shit has been hitting the fan
Hmm.
here in the Wizarding world, and it's just really been a mess. But Dumbledore told us to promise not to talk to you, not to say anything. So we haven't really been hollering at you or writing you. So that's why. Um, so at this point, they're like, "What the hell's going on?" So they're listening to the adults, right? The
Mm.
adults are talking about the Order, which apparently is some secret Justice League that Dumbledore put together back in the day that
Right.
Harry's parents were in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and as soon as he hears about that, hello, he wants to be part of it. Like, how can I join up? What's going on?
He wants to
Everybody's
fight.
like,
He wants to do
no.
everything. Yeah.
Right. Everybody's like, Dumbledore said no. Like, you're a little
Mm-hmm.
boy. You shouldn't
Mm-hmm.
be trifling with these issues. Like, let the grown-ups handle it.
Which is right.
I'm just like, I don't know. Like, you guys know that he's more powerful than other kids his age. He's more skilled because he's had to be. Um, and he's evaded death by the hands of Voldemort at least 3 times by now. So I'm just really confused by why they're so uh, hesitant to have him involved in.
Well, I mean, the ethics of a teacher. I get that. Like, you
Mhm.
don't want to put your students at any harm. You want to, because because I mean, I hold teachers in high regard. I feel like they're part of
Mhm.
the village. They're part of the village that raises the child. And therefore,
Yeah.
and they care to a certain extent. You know what I mean? So, like,
Right.
I got a feeling that there's a little bit of that in there, because just like, at some point you'll see how, they say how much Dumbledore cares about Harry. So he's kind
Yeah.
of like coddling him, and you know what I mean. So
I mean,
that part of it makes sense.
they care about Harry so much, but they still every summer send him back to them Dursleys. I don't get it.
I see you. Word
I
up.
don't get
I mean,
it.
no, I mean, I mean, it's probably just the law in the UK. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and mind you, he's like, and mind you, his mother was a Muggle, and he's the offspring of a Muggle, and like
They don't
he
want
has.
him.
No, they don't. You know what I mean? But that's the only blood family that he has. That's the only place he could go. At least till he turns 18. Let's see what happens once he
Bump
turns
that.
18, and then he's quote unquote out of the system. You know what I mean? Because in my opinion, he probably would have been better off with a foster family.
Well, apparently he was in the system regardless because the first place they stop after he visits with the members of the Order of the Phoenix
Hmm.
is Gringotts, not Gringotts, is the Ministry of Magic, which is just a regular office building. It's not really serving or anything like that. But they do go through the visitors entrance, which was interesting
That was
for
interesting.
Mr. Weasley. He was
Hmm.
not familiar with this part of town. He does not ride the subway. He, in fact, was impressed with Muggle's invention of trains underground. Who would have thunk? Anyway,
Hmm.
they make it down to the Ministry of Magic, and the first place they stop is the Department of Mysteries, which apparently just is a huge record room filled with, I don't know, visions of the future or prophecies. It's really strange, and there's like some sort of personal rights infringement happening there. I don't really know how it works, but it seemed very iffy to me.
Hmm.
And I really want to know more about that. Like, how did they get these physical prophecies? Because there's not a lot of times we see in fantasy films that there's a physical prophecy that somebody didn't write down. You know what I
Mm,
mean? Like
I
it's
think
just a
so.
visual depiction, or whatever, or someone talking and telling you what is going to happen, or I don't know, just giving you a clue about the future, something like that. And I would just, if I was Harry, I'd be like, why the hell is this in here? Who created this prophecy? Because they do
Mm,
track whether they're made by male or female prophesizers. I really don't know. Anyway, it's crazy and I don't get it and I didn't sign up for this. So they go in there and I guess Harry just knows where his prophecy is at this point. It's in row 97.
mm.
We we leave out of there, they get to Hogwarts, and what happens as soon as they hit Hogwarts? Like, is that when Harry sees the little wagon, dead horse angel things? I don't know what they're called. But we meet Luna
Oh
Lovegood for the first
yeah.
time. Yeah,
What
you
a
remember them?
name. What a name.
Luna Lovegood. I love her so much. She's such
Um,
a little weirdo.
she really
Um,
is. But
she's
like
this albino
why
kid that is
no
so weird.
but why would they give her like a porn star name? Like that's just so weird. Like that was weird.
Okay.
Like
Why
why would they do that?
do you
Why would
go
they give
straight
this little
there?
blonde girl like this porn star name? Like come on, bro.
It
Like
has to be whimsical, you know?
I understand that, but I mean, there's so many different things you can do. Like this is a Wizarding World. Luna Lovegood. Like, come
Well,
on. Like,
Luna for the moon, and I guess the Lovegood family. I don't really know. I don't remember her backstory
I
very
mean, you
much,
might as well
and
just call her Night Lady.
she
Like,
kind of comes at the right time throughout the next these two films.
yeah,
She's always
I
has a
mean,
little gem to drop, or she's telling you about some mystical creature that you can't even see with your own eyes. It's
yeah,
crazy.
she's
Anyway,
very weird. She's very Alexa Bliss. Like, she's
she's
very.
she's perfectly eclectic in every way, and I think that she
Mhm.
should definitely join up with the threesome, the trio. Um,
Mm,
but she'll be a secondary trio person. We're gonna get into who should become the fourth in their little dynamic, Ronald, Hermione, and Daniel Radcliffe's Harry Potter's dynamic, because
it's
I
gonna.
have my wild cards. Definitely, Neville Longbottom is one of them. He steps up this year.
Mm,
Um, he's like ready to join up as soon as they start to figuring out. Okay, this pink lady, Dolores Umbridge, who becomes the new professor of the dark arts, right?
man, she is something else.
She
That
was
is
crazy.
she was those all those cats in those dishes. That was wild.
She was
That
crazy. Anyway,
that.
she was one of the judges that
Oh
that saw
yes.
that judge over the hearing to see if Harry can come back to school, because what the hell, y'all? There was Dementors. Like, I had to do what I had to do to survive, but there were no witnesses, which is there were no witnesses that they knew of. Which was crazy to me, because I'm just like, why does it have to be so perfectly manipulated and set up by Dumbledore in order for Harry to come up? There should be more, like, if Muggles have cameras, Big Brother is our whole thing. Why don't
Mm,
they have anything happening like that, like in the magical world? Like, you have to
facts
rely on an eyewitness. That's
for real.
so,
No, I
to
mean,
me, it's just like, I don't get it.
you know what? I agree with you because it also makes me wonder what is the time period of this?
Oh, they're so in the early 90s.
Really?
The Order of the Phoenix happens in 1996.
Ah, okay. No, but and mind you, there's not even a flip phone.
But
Like
there's magic.
I get that. I get
There's
that.
magic. I should be able to, like Fozzie Bear, be able to be like, boop, hello,
And
hello,
mind you, there's
Mama
not even any of
Weasley.
that. Like, there's not even any of that. Like, you don't see people communicating outside of letters and owls, and like they're sending owls.
Yeah.
Like, it's very Game of Thrones, like send the Raven type shit. Like, you,
Oh,
you
yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
And,
Yeah,
which
there
is
are some
weird.
things that are just so medieval.
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering. Like, is this the 1800s? But then the way they're dressed is very, very modern. Therefore, like, it is weird. I don't know. Yeah. Hmm.
far as how they're dressed, a lot of their like regular day wear, not including the robes, is very like stripy argyle
Mm-hmm.
sweater. I don't
Mm-hmm.
love that. It's not
Mm-hmm.
good to me. Maybe it was a time in Britain when that was, I guess in the
Yeah.
90s that was like hip,
Uh,
but everything just looks gray and washed out and beige and darker gray. It's just not
mm-hmm.
good.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho, after the hearing, which Dumbledore showed his whole behind at and was like, y'all not about to send my boy Harry
Facts.
away from Hogwarts. This is where he belongs. He's defending himself. And here's two witnesses. Boom, boom. Now what? They're like, all right, well, girl, damn. You know you got us with your law knowing. And they take
What's a law knowing? You hear
they
this?
take Harry and uh, Ron, Mr. Weasley, I can't remember his dad's name. It's like, okay, girl, well, let's send you off to Hogwarts. Bye. And he's like, Dumbledore, wait. And Dumbledore's like, girl, I've got other business to attend to. Okay, ma'am. Bye. He hits it and he
Oh,
doesn't even
that
turn
is
and look over his shoulder to
hilarious.
be like, things. Okay. He just keeps it pushing as soon as that trial's over. And I
Mm.
get it. He's doing a lot of hard work behind the scenes that we don't even get to hear about until episode 6. Episode 6, Star
Facts.
Wars.
That is true. This feels very Star Wars.
It does.
It really does feel Star Wars, like especially like the Dark Lord feels very Darth Vader,
Mm-hmm.
very
Mm-hmm.
very Darth Vader. The whole thing with him, and I'm just like, is
Now,
this is
as
this a bitery? Is there bitery here? Is there swipery?
well,
Is there swipe?
well,
Does somebody have to say swiping? No swiping. Hmm?
well, probably. But as I was watching this, I felt a lot of Game of Thrones in it too, especially with
Hmm.
the visuals and the landscapes that they
Yeah,
really
exactly.
focused on a lot more in this film, which was really cool.
But now that makes me feel like
But
Game
no,
of Thrones bit off of this,
that's true, exactly.
and
Because when I
then
looked it
like,
up, I was like, oh,
you know what I mean? It
yeah, this
feels more
predates
like
that.
it feels more like you know Harry Potter for the Spice Channel, right? You know what I mean?
I don't
Like,
know why you keep bringing it back to that, but anhu,
yo,
so
the
we get
first season, how you messing with your sister anyway? Like, yo, that's
Whoa!
wild,
Episode
dude.
1.
Yes, like come on
Um,
now, you killing a kid because you messing with your sister. That come on anyway.
hey, they both were the finest in the land. Like,
You
it's
need to
just the
leave. You need to
best.
go find another town. You better call a raven. Nevermore.
He
Yeah.
didn't. He didn't even want when they went down into the hood and he found his brothers laid up in some uh sex worker's hut, and the brother Tyrion is like, come on, like join me. He was like not even at all interested. He didn't even want a whiff of
Facts.
nothing but whatever. Anyway,
Word up for real. And he had options that he gonna get
he's
anyway.
still
For real.
anyway gross. So
Hmm.
they're at Hogwarts and stuff's popping off already. Like they're at orientation dinner. Everybody's getting their lives because like they ain't ate like this in a long time. I know the Weasleys haven't because they are baroque.
Hmm.
Um, and Dumbledore goes up to make a speech and he's like, "Okay, y'all, so welcome back. Hey, girl, whatever." And then he's like, "So we have a new professor. Her name is Dolores Umbridge. Wop wop wop." Next on the church sermon list, and then Dolores is like, and then walks her little pink self because she wears a pink Chanel suit in the first one. Looks very Chanel inspired, probably isn't, but it's very like she's very fashion forward. She's like, hey, I have a little something to say. Y'all gonna act right. Now that I'm here, y'all gonna act right. I don't care what y'all been
Say that to the
learning
twins.
before. I don't care what Mr. Dumbledore has said, Professor Dumbledore, whatever you want to call him, headmaster, not for long. You gonna act right and you gonna come correct. Because I'm
Mm-mm.
from the Ministry of Magic and I don't play that. Fred and Fred too, what Weasley? I don't remember the Weasley twins' names. They're like,
Facts.
get a load of this. We're gonna ruin her life. They're already planning and
Hmm.
plotting on her for this whole
I
semester.
I just got to say that I love their evolution. I
Yes,
love what happens with them. Like
they really changed from goofball,
hmm
right?
they go from goofball to businessman. I love it.
Hmm.
I love it. It's amazing.
And they're pretty masterful at what they do. Like
Hmm.
their potions and candies and all their
Yeah,
little stuff that they sell, this shit works. Like
facts.
they know what they're doing.
Hmm.
Which is the best part. Because if you're just out here pranking everybody and just, work, just being pure evil, that would be pretty whack.
Facts.
So, Dolores Umbridge, as soon as she hits the floors of Hogwarts, she is running amok. Harry gets in detention the first night, the first day, whatever. I don't know how they do their classes, but he gets a detention from the first class from first meeting her because he's time enough. And he's like, girl, what are you? No, we need to be learning how to defend ourselves.
Yep.
You got us going by this little kitty book. They're
Hmm.
like, I'm 7 years old. I'm HP out here, okay? Can't play me. I know my Patronus. Do you even have a Patronus, Dolores? Do you even know what that is? I'm out here fighting Dementors, okay?
Oh, this lady.
You're not gonna be teaching me this bullshit, all right? And she's like, Harry after class. He's like, fine. So he
Mhm.
goes and he has to write lines. I'm like, lines? Oh my God. That's the absolute worst in the world. My fucking hand was cramping up.
At that moment,
Lines?
it made me
Just,
think
it
he
got
started losing.
triggered. It
Yes.
got triggered.
Yes.
She
No,
didn't
but
even give him a limit. She said, just write it until you get it through your thick skull.
hmm
As soon as he starts writing, it turns out her pencil is enchanted. And it's literally engraving the lines in his hand. I'm like, oh, hell no. At this point, expel me because
that was
I'm
gangster.
about
I'm not
to
gonna
fight
lie.
this lady.
I'm not gonna lie. That was some gangster shit.
What?
That was some gangster shit. Like that
With the
was
kitties on the wall?
that was some next level. You know why? Because I didn't see that coming. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, this is
as a
pretty dark.
muggle, as a muggle, like you know what I was thinking to myself, like, oh, what is this? Bart Simpson in the beginning of The Simpsons writing "I will not this." Like, what are you doing? Like, why are they? You know what I mean? But then all of a sudden, you see this shit popping up on his hand. I was like,
Right.
wow,
Yeah.
what? If this was like the fifth grade, these kids would be so in line. What? They would
Mm.
never want that ever in their life. Like, that was crazy.
Well,
I
some of
was.
them will be subject to it
Mm-hmm.
because fifth grade, I think that's where Hogwarts starts.
Okay, that's good to know.
Big yike.
But okay, okay, but yeah, that was wild. Out of the cat lady, and mind you, like you don't necessarily like you just see her being a hater, but you don't see her
Yes.
being that evil. Like she just came
Right.
out with some oof, but
Yeah, she's
it
a little
kind of made her
sadistic.
yes, but at that moment, it kind of made her character a little bit more compelling.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's when we start to really see that no, she's not just petty, she's legitimately evil.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes some teachers, very few, I imagine, but some teachers just got beef with kids. Like they don't bang with them, they don't like them.
Facts.
They're in this for the check.
Mm-hmm.
And they especially don't like when kids question. That's this teacher, except she, on top of that, wants
Mm-hmm.
to discipline using extreme violence. So this is something that's frowned upon by Professor McGonagall. Professor calls her out in the middle of the hallway and is like, bitch, you're not about to be torturing my students, especially my beloved Gryffindors. You tried that. Meanwhile, she's getting what's her Umbridge is getting all cutesy and with the Slytherin kids, all your faves, Malfoy and Crab and Boyle, and I'm just assuming that because that goes together. It sounds like some Harry Potter shit, don't it? Crab and Boyle.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, she's getting cool with them and cutesy, and Harry's like, y'all. shit's about to go down. Like we need to prepare for the war. And the other students at first, they're not really buying it. They're believing that he's a liar. That's what it's saying in the papers. But they hear in Dumbledore's speech and orientation, you guys are gonna have to start protecting yourselves and just learning and being powerful, whatever. Like doing
Mm-hmm.
your whole thing. And they're like, okay. So they start to believe Harry, and they're like, Harry, teach us. So amazingly, in the cover of night, in the room of requirement, a special room that appears when you really, really need a place to make out, they start to use that place for training. He starts to train these kids after he tells them about the Order of the Phoenix. They
Mm,
decide to create their own kids army called Dumbledore's Army.
mm,
Some By some stroke of brilliance, someone writes down a list of all the invitees and titles it Dumbledore's Army.
mhm,
Setting themselves up for failure later
right,
on in the film. Now
yeah,
they're all learning how to defend themselves, and it's a really cool sequence. We really get to see the kids and all their different personalities and how it affects and impacts their magic and the rate at which they pick up on these defense spells.
mm.
I thought it was cool. I like to get to see other kids do their thing.
I mean,
It was interesting to me.
I like seeing Harry in that leadership role. I have a
He's
feeling that there's more to come in the future. I got a feeling that Harry might end up being a teacher. I appreciate
Yeah,
that. I got a
some
feeling that,
foreshadowing.
and yeah, and then mind you, even the little girl later on, she was just like, "You're a great teacher, Harry. Like I got to do
Oh
this and
yeah,
that,
that was so cute.
And I thought that they were gonna do a thing, but it looks like that didn't happen. So.
And Hermione was so proud of him and pushing him, um, which I love. I'm like, their platonic relationship is so mutually beneficial to both of them. Like, it just works out perfectly, and it's just they're a good trio. But these two, Hermione and Harry, they just make each other better. I don't know what it is, but they're very equally yoked
Mm-hmm.
in
Mm-hmm.
either talent or knowledge, and it works out for them pretty well.
It does. It does.
Um,
And you know what? And well, you know what? We'll bring that back up later.
okay,
But yeah, yeah, I agree with you 100% on that.
okay. So it's been like maybe 2 or 3 months of this secret training, and Umbridge is like on a warpath.
Mm,
She tries to get the divination professor fired, Professor Trelawney.
mm-hmm.
And basically, essentially, does fire her and tries to put her off campus. And Dumbledore is like, "Ma'am, pipe down. You can't ban her from the premises. That's
Mm-hmm.
still under my authority. So
Mm-hmm.
stay in your lane." She's like,
Right.
"It is for now,"
Mm,
and heads her little pink booty back to her office. Now, it takes 3 months of snooping around and, you know, I don't know, over eavesdropping and all of
mm,
this, but finally, um, that little Slytherin trio happens upon this list, shows Professor Umbridge, and they find the room of requirement. They find all the students inside, and they are in big trouble.
facts.
Um, they also bring in reinforcements from the Ministry of Magic to trap Dumbledore in his office to arrest him. And Harry's there too. And Harry's like, no, he had nothing to do with it. Like, I assembled these students, I was teaching them. He had no knowledge of this. And Dumbledore is like, just, sis, just relax. Because my name's on the list. I orchestrated this, and I ain't scared of them. And
Mm-hmm.
they're like, Dolores is like, get him, girls. So they head up to him, and he's like, oh, you thought I was about to come quietly? Now, this moment to me stands out of all the films because it's where
Facts.
you really see how masterful um, and stylistic Dumbledore's magic is, and he is as a sorcerer, wizard, however you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And he has his phoenix fly up and uses it as a port key. I learned what it was. He
Ah,
uses it as a port key and he dips immediately, boom, in a flash of fire and wind. And they're like, damn. And then the black man, I wish I knew his name. He's just a politician, so who cares? But he's like, you gotta hand it to him. He's got style. I was like, I know that's right.
for
I
real.
was so just, I don't know. I was like mind blown when that happened. Like I was so
Mhm.
impressed. Did anything like that
No,
impress
I
you, or
love
did
it.
that one
No, I
moment?
felt the exact same way because, like, that was just I didn't see that coming. I didn't see him doing that. All of a sudden, the Phoenix comes in and then bomb. And then, mind you, the guy's like, you might not like him, but Dumbledore's got style. And I was just like, yeah, boy, go ahead, Dumbledore. I mean, mind you, like these two movies were mainly about Dumbledore, in my opinion, but we'll get back to that later. But still, like it just made him shine. At least that scene,
Yeah.
more than anything.
I thought that was so cool.
Mhm.
Hated to see him go, but at this point it's definitely on Harry, and Harry is really starting to smell himself. Like he's got his team behind him. The students are believing him now. And so he's like, okay, I got to take this to the next level. He's been having these nightmares and visions about the Department of Mysteries,
Mhm.
and he suddenly has a vision that um, his godfather, Sirius Black, is in there and he's being attacked and injured, tortured.
Mhm.
And he's like, I gotta go find him. And Hermione and Ron are like, girl, it's 2 o'clock a.m. What? We ain't going nowhere. You ain't going nowhere. He's like, I have to do this without you. I can't put you in danger. And they're like, are you dumb? Like, obviously, like, you see me getting dressed. Like, so
Mhm.
just sit down for 2 minutes. I'm just going to pop this in the microwave. Then we can be on our way. So they get ready. They happen to wrangle Luna Lovegood, Jenny, and Neville Longbottom as well, making for a nice little sect, a nice little group of good guys to defend and protect. So they head to the Department of Mysteries and the Ministry of Magic. Department of Mysteries and the Ministry of Magic. And they're like, okay, this room big. And it's a whole giant library of shelves with these magic mystical balls on them
Mhm.
that have prophecies in them. So they go, they're looking all around, and they're like, which one is the one? And Harry's like, I can feel it.
Mhm.
He's like playing hot and cold a little bit.
Mhm.
And then he finds it. As he finds it, he starts to see something like slithering and sniveling all around in the background. And he's like, girl, what? So
Mhm.
everybody's looking around. I don't hear it. You hear something? I don't hear anything. Um, and then finally, who do we see? But Draco Targaryen. No, I'm just kidding. What's Draco Malfoy's dad's name?
Dang, I forget, but the long blonde. Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Targaryen Malfoy.
Yeah, yeah, fact.
Popping up, and he's like, just give us the orb, Harry. We're
Mm.
not gonna hurt you, Harry. Just give us. And he's like, first of all, your son's an asshole. Okay. Secondly, I would never trust you.
Mm.
You are wearing a wig, sir. So no, I won't give you the orb. And then who pops up but other people who matter and are Death Eaters. And
Mm.
they're all around. And their friends are like, pow, 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 pow. It's just going down, okay? It's going down in the Department of Mysteries in the orb room. and everybody's using their little magical powers. Stupefy, stupefy.
Mhm.
Do you know any? Expelliarmus. You don't remember any.
And I
You'd
don't
be
remember none of that shit.
defenseless.
I
You can't
really
be in
would
the
be.
order. You
I
can't be
can't.
in it.
I can't. That's why I'm a muggle.
No. You know what? When there's a wizarding war, it comes to the Muggle world too. It impacts it, and I know that you know that,
Hey,
especially
listen,
after
I don't
watching this
see
one.
I don't see Dementors. I don't see none of that. You know what I
And
mean?
you won't, but you'll feel it when it get cold in there. And then what will you do?
Turn the heat on.
Well, that might help.
It's your meat. Like you do. Like, get the heater, get an electric heater or something.
So there's a couple different face-offs during this. What are your favorites when they're in the Department of when they're in the Ministry of Magic? Once they've gotten out of the orb room, they're kind of like in the lobby. There's a bunch of different shit going on.
Well, I mean, when like Sirius shows up with his whole squad, you know what I mean? I wanted us to learn more about them because one thing that I was confused by was at least the guy, from the beginning of the movie was the guy with the eye that kind of like betrayed him in the last movie.
Yeah, Moody.
Yeah, I was shocked to see Moody there because I thought
So
Moody was a bad guy. So that kind of confused me. You
in the
know what I
last one, he was pretending. I think he was using a polyjuice potion and was
mean?
pretending to be him. David Tennant, Doctor Who, was I
Ah,
think he was
yeah, yeah,
pretending
yeah, yeah. That's what.
to be
Okay,
him.
okay,
He had him captive at some point or something.
okay. That's what. Okay,
Something was
that,
going on over there.
yeah. Because I mean, no. Because the thing is that you got to watch these things 2 or 3 times, like
Yes.
the little
Yes,
things.
yes,
You know what I
yes.
mean? Like it's entertaining, but you really like to pick up on stuff. You really got to watch because I feel like watching it again to just pick up on. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
this
it's
one I've had to watch at least 3 times.
because there's a lot going on, and mind you, like it picks up literally right at the last movie. So right now that I'm watching it as a Muggle. I feel like I'm watching the next Netflix special.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
So yeah, I mean, so I think they've changed the director again with this one. I think it was David Yates.
Mm,
I think, and this movie in particular, Five, Order of the Phoenix, was very. There were a lot of
I'm sorry.
visions. There were a lot of like different little visions and dreams, and
Mhm,
that it would get a little milky, so it was kind of
mhm.
sometimes hard to tell. There were also a lot of flashbacks in other people's lives. Um,
Well, I mean, yeah,
that
I mean, I feel like you learn a lot more about Tom Riddle.
you do, and you actually learn a lot about Snape too.
Oh hell
Learn a lot
yeah!
about Snape in this one.
Yeah.
In preparation for Lord Voldemort, we realize that Harry and Voldemort are very connected
Mhm,
in some way that makes their minds linked. And so, in order to prevent mind control of Harry,
mhm,
Harry and Snape under Dumbledore's direction begin training in arithmancy. So hard to say.
mhm,
Arithmancy, and what that is just training, mental exercises, training to essentially what Marines go through, so that they don't tell all the secrets.
mhm,
Undergoing different levels of mental pressure and torture,
mhm.
without revealing whatever really happened in your mind, your memories, what have you. So I guess him and Harry and Snape get a little close too. This installment.
Well, yeah, because I mean, Snape is. This is the first time we see Snape in a really, really, really vulnerable state.
Hmm.
Like,
Hmm.
and we certainly see a whole nother side to Harry's dad.
Yes.
Oh
Oh,
wow,
heartbreaking. Who
yeah,
knew?
oof.
Who knew? So his dad, we see that his dad was kind of a douchebag.
Mhm,
Probably not somebody that Harry would have liked when if they
mhm,
went to Hogwarts together.
yep.
Kind of a bully, really, actually, fully a bully.
You know what though?
Along with
But
his other friends,
now,
Sirius and all of them.
but now it makes more sense why the Hat thought that Harry would be good in Slytherin. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Because he probably thought, because probably thinking about his father, because his father was probably a dick. Because his father
yeah.
was sitting there acting like Malfoy,
Yep. Sure was.
and so
Sure was. Definitely preparing Snape to become some sort of school sorcerer, school magic violent student person. I don't know how to say it. Anyway, so my favorite part of the fight scene was watching Sirius and Harry side by side, just
hmm
and fighting off the Death Eaters. I thought that was so magical.
hmm
Um, then we only get it for just a couple short scenes, but it was just so fulfilling. I was like, yes. And in that moment, when Harry really got one of the Death Eaters good, he was like, hey, yeah. And Sirius was like, right on, James. And I was
mm,
like, oh, because he reminded him of his dad in that moment, and it was
yep,
so beautiful. I was so
yep.
proud. Um, all that stuff that I felt bad about James Potter being a bully and all that just washed away in that moment. I was like, yes, James slash Harry. I'm so proud of you. And even Harry for a second was like, like he was really feeling that and felt in his heart. It was beautiful. And then as soon as we have that beautiful moment, Sirius is snatched away from us again permanently, um, at the hands of none other than Beatrix Kiddo. No,
That's her name.
no, Bellatrix uh, Granger. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know her last name,
That would be
but
hilarious if she was related.
no, but killed by his. Is this his cousin? Is that his own cousin? I think that's his cousin. She killed.
Nah,
She no, I'm pretty sure that they're cousins.
she's a black,
Sirius Black and Bellatrix, whomever.
but she's part of his family. Like, oh,
Yes, like he has a cousin that is a Death Eater. And it's a female. I'm pretty sure it's her.
oh, that's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? And it's crazy too because she also is the one who murdered Neville Longbottom's
Mm-hmm.
parents. Murdered? Are they dead?
Parents.
Are they dead? Maybe they're
Oh,
not dead, but he injured them badly. Oh no, they're dead. They're dead. But anyway, she kills Neville Longbottom's parents too, and I'm just like, damn, this is really like having like
this
a
chick is.
really interconnected backstory here with Neville and Harry. Like they're kind of similar. Like that's crazy.
I wonder
And
if
he
that.
was having his moment. He was about to avenge the parents and really fighting. And I was so proud of him in that moment too. He's kind of been an underdog this whole series. He's kind of a goofball, but he starts to come up a bit as he joins Dumbledore's army. So at the end, I'm not going to harp on it. I'll just say Dumbledore comes back, hooks Harry up, looks out. Him and Voldemort getting a little fight, shablam, shablam, shabloom. And then Voldemort is like, girl, I don't got time for this, and dissipates into dust and then
Mhm.
possesses Harry. And then Dumbledore has to like give him a pep talk. And then Harry is like, I feel bad for you because you don't have any friends, you loser. And then Voldemort's like, oh, girl, damn. And then she leaves. He leaves. And who knew what
Yeah,
would
man.
defeat
The way she
Lord
described fights.
Voldemorty but the power of love? Once again,
Yeah,
the
man.
power of
Friend.
friendship.
Yep.
Power of friendship saved the day once again.
Yep.
But the best part about this is that just as the Ministry of Magic finally arrives, it's literally been 3 hours worth of fighting and searching and all that shit.
Mm.
And finally, somebody rung the alarm and called them down there. They get down there just as Voldemort is hitting his Irish exit. And they're like, "Oh damn, he's back for real. Okay, my bad." And so it's shared throughout the land. He's back. He's back. Oh my God, no! What's gonna happen, Lord? And we get into the next movie, y'all. We're not about to dedicate another 50 minutes to this last movie. I'm gonna just give it a thumbs up. No, I'm just kidding. I'll give this first.
No,
I'll give five a
we
thumbs
do
up.
it a little faster.
I was gonna say I'll give five a thumbs up. For me, it had a cliffhanger, but hey, at least everybody knows now Voldemort's back, and we got one really, really great fighting scene and
Facts.
one devastating death, which I feel like all these movies deserve.
Facts.
Now this next movie starts off pretty interesting. We actually get a cameo from who would later become the star of A Star's show, P Valley. She comes in. She's a waitress. Harry's reading a paper, a magical paper that has no business in the Muggle land, but
Mm-hmm.
she sees it. She's like, Harry Potter, and he's like, some twat. And she's like, "Oh, well, I get off at 11. Won't you tell me more about this twat Harry Potter?" And he's like, "Okay, yeah." And then as soon as that happens, he's getting ready. Here comes Dumbledore talking about, "Come on, sis, let's go." Harry's like, "Damn, like,
For real. And she's
ain't
across
this
the train
mama?"
looking around for him, getting off. I'm like,
You know
oh,
what I'm
come
saying?
on,
Like,
man.
what's going on?
Man, like you couldn't have came in an hour. Like, come
Right. And
on, you
but
know
you
what
know
I
what?
mean?
Later on, he does say, "Hey, my bad about the girl. Like, she was very beautiful." Like, I love had that little moment of humanity and not Voldemort talk because
Facts.
God, I love you so much, Dumbledore. But if you tell me one more thing about this bullshit, I swear to God, like I'm transferring schools. I don't need this. Like, what should I have come here in the first place? Like, wouldn't he hunt for me here first? You
Facts.
know, like, doesn't he know you care about me? Like, you're
Mm-hmm.
the one that hid me. It's just wild. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
so they do whatever they do. Lord knows what it was because that was like 3 hours ago. But they start to get into it, and he's like, "Okay, sis, like, I remember last year I was like not trying to involve you, not trying to get you all up in the mix or whatever, but shit's going down for real, and like, they're gonna come to Hogwarts. I don't even know if you should come back." And he was like, "I'm coming back. What the hell are you talking
Mm-hmm.
about?" And he's
Mm-hmm.
like, "Okay, fine." So then he drops him off with the Weasleys again. Which, are they getting a stipend? Because they don't got money like that to be feeding him and
I
clothing him.
mean, no, but Mrs. Weasley, when they say to her, he's not your son, and she's the right away, she's like, might as well be. You
Yeah,
know
she
what I
does
mean?
say
And that's what
that.
I love about her because she's literally just taking him on like one of her own
Does she
kids.
work? They both work,
Hell
right?
no, she ain't got no time to work. You got that
Okay, so
many kids?
Just Mr. Weasley's working.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like a muggle
That
lawyer.
many kids. Aren't all the kids in school by now? Yes, right? Is
I
Jenny
mean, you know
Fred
what
the
though? But I
older
wouldn't be
one?
surprised. But here's the thing though, Mrs. Weasley is one of the most creative people there. I would not be surprised if she has some kind of side hustle, some kind of business
Yeah, that
on the
makes sense
side.
to me.
Like if she had an Etsy store, I would go to her Etsy store so fast.
It's
You know
not
what
an
I'm
Etsy
saying?
store. People that can afford, she's not a person who can afford to have an Etsy store. I'm thinking she's a house cleaner. I'm thinking she does
I
dishes
mean, what do you
somewhere.
mean?
She
Like,
might be a bathroom attendant. I don't know, but whatever she's doing, she ain't been to work none of the times that I've watched these movies. So she probably out in the garden hanging up clothes on a clothing line. Like, that's
hmm
her whole thing. She's a
hmm
homemaker. Anyway,
facts.
she
Follow
happens to
her.
have all the.
Follow Mrs. Weasley on Pinterest. I bet you it's popping.
I mean, it probably is. With magical Tupperware that
Mm-hmm.
keeps food fresh forever. Oh
Facts.
my God, is that an
Facts.
idea? Did I just invent that? Wow.
Well, you're gonna have a corner in the wizarding world.
I sure will.
Mm.
So, whatever. Anyway, what the hell happens then? Okay, surprise, they're in Hogwarts once again. Yay! There's a new teacher now, but this time it's an old acquaintance of Dumbledore. and apparently he taught at Hogwarts before. And his name is Kerflumflumflumflum.
Exactly.
What's his
Exactly.
name?
That's how you say
Slugworth.
it. Yep.
His name's some Professor Slughorn or something weird. Thanks, J.K. Rowling.
Hey, word.
Um, any anyway, you can tell this dude's kind of like sleazy. It's hard to say. Like he's cool and he's taught a lot of very impressive wizards and wizardresses, witches.
Mm-hmm.
No one ever says witches in this. Why is that?
They do.
Um,
Yeah, they
do
do.
they? I never hear
Yeah,
anybody say
yeah. A couple
Professor
people.
McGonagall is the best witch. I don't be hearing that. People say
Um,
witch. I want to be the best witch. No one says that in
which are
this.
like that. Yeah. Well, yeah. In a positive sense, yeah. No, usually some people are like,
Oh, are they saying it in a
yeah,
negative sense? Lord,
yeah, yeah.
that's
I mean, but I
terrible.
know that I've heard the word witch several times already
Witches and
watching
wizards.
movies.
Hogwarts School for Witches and Wizards. But they don't use it in their regular like speech. It's not part of that. It's
Yeah.
always wizardry.
Mm. I mean,
This is a man's world.
but some things go away. Like for example, I think it's weird, but like nobody here says actress anymore.
Oh, yeah, but
Like
there was a whole push for that.
yeah, like and I still don't get that. Like I don't understand why.
I get it, but I
You
don't
know.
mind actress because if I was the actress
Yeah,
actor,
like I
I
don't.
would like
Yeah,
actress because Tris just sounds
exactly. To me, it does, but I don't know. Some people don't call me an
actress.
actress. I'm an actor.
Actress.
Like I don't know. So whatever. But
Anyway, I'm thespian.
yeah. Oh, she's
Anywho,
funny.
they're back at Hogwarts. Wow, go figure. There's a new professor. Wow, go figure again. This guy's teaching potions,
Mm,
and just as everybody's running all around the hallways going to class, Harry and Ron are standing up watching everybody like, fucking kids, fucking
mm-hmm,
first years,
mm,
losers. Ha! And Professor McGonagall's in the hallway like, and where the hell are y'all supposed to be? They're like, oh, we got free period. He's like, and McGonagall's like, no, you don't, because there's a potions teacher now, guys. You
mhm.
know that, so you just elect to take it for your, your own personal wizard enrichment. And
That's
they're
right.
like, oh, for fuck's sake! So then they go over there. There's two books left. One's kind of ragged looking. They bust up in there. Hermione's in there. Well, one of her. I imagine she's taking multiple courses like she
Facts.
did the other movie.
Yep.
So they go to get a book, and one's raggedy and one's pristine. So they wrestle for them, and Harry ends up with the raggedy one. How
Mm.
I, you know what? I guess I do kind of get it. Ron by now is a successful goalie. He's a goalie.
Actually, yeah, he is a goalie, but that whole thing it was great. Like,
Yeah, you
yeah,
were
that whole thing.
impressed with
No,
him
no,
or with the plan.
with the plan.
The plan was cool. He
The
ain't needed though.
plan.
He just needed a placebo.
Yeah, that's it. That's what it is. He needed that placebo so that he could get that cockiness because I've never seen Ron like that.
Yeah,
What?
he was ready.
They took all the softness out of him. Like
Yes,
what? That
he
was
was ready to
great.
go. He had groupies. Like it's
Uh-huh.
a whole thing. Like this man is an
Yes.
athlete
Facts. For
now.
real. Like he really is top dollar right now. Like that was great.
Well, he does not luck up, unfortunately, in getting
Mm,
the book because he gets the pristine book while Harry gets a raggedy book. But
mhm.
lucky him, the book has a bunch of handwritten notes from
Yes.
someone named the Half Blood Prince. And these notes edit all up and through the book. And he
Hmm.
wins a contest in getting one of the potions right on the first try, on the first quiz, and wins
Now,
a luck potion.
did you notice how much that stressed out Hermione?
Yes. And I was like,
What? That was nuts. Like he had his little cheat sheet, right? So he was whipping her ass with the potions.
yep.
And what? She was stressed out.
It just goes to show you if she wasn't prepared. You can't prepare for a
Mhm.
course you didn't know was coming back.
No, but I mean, like, what I'm saying is just that she prides herself on being better than everybody. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? And if she's not better than everybody, then it's a problem.
Yep.
Um,
He humbled that ass quick.
exactly. I've never seen her money that humbled before, which was great.
She's like,
Because she's
"How did you
usually,
do that?"
yeah, exactly. Because she's usually the smartest one in the room,
Hmm.
And she's like, no, the instructions specifically say, nah, you got to try new
He's
shit.
like, "Good luck following those, sis."
Facts. That was great. That
So he
was
wins this luck potion, and so he fakes Ron out on the first. Well, he actually Ron aces the tryouts, and becomes first string, which is
great.
awesome.
Hmm.
But then the day of the first Quidditch match of the season, Ron is pissing his pants. He's shitting bricks because he's extra nervous. Everybody's like, "Yeah, Ron, you could totally do it, Ron. Yeah, what? Yeah, what? Go!"
Hmm.
And he's just like, "Whoa, this is very intense. I'm gonna retire after this." So Harry, and with the help of Luna Lovegood, fakes him out like he used the luck potion, and
Hmm.
he does amazing in the match. He's super impressive, and I think Gryffindor wins, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
But it
And
was
mind you,
pretty
no,
pretty
but it
cool.
was it was great because he didn't tell Hermione till way later. And she's over there like shaking her head at him, looking at
Yep.
Ron like oh you cheated, da 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 when
But she's still a little proud.
hell yeah, I mean she helped him out a lot and all of
Yeah.
that. I mean, but one thing that she said in the last movie that is hilarious to me that he has the emotional density of a teaspoon,
Hmm.
which is like
They cracked up when she said that.
yes, I mean, but which is so accurate, but then at the same time, I feel like that's common amongst men, at least
Yeah,
young men, if
I
that
can
makes
see it.
sense.
I
You
can
know what I
see
mean?
it.
Like, and I feel like she's expecting a little bit too much, you know,
Mm.
because she's expecting him to just be like, Hermione, be my princess. Like
Hmm.
she's setting it all up for that, and she's waiting for him to pull the trigger. And I'm just like, just tell him you like him already. Like, stop. You know, you know what I mean?
I don't know what's going on with him this whole movie. He ends up with a girlfriend that he don't even like.
I mean, but here's the thing, though. Okay, every person that goes through this superstar moment ends up with a girlfriend that they don't like, even if
Mm,
it's a girlfriend for the night.
mm. That's
You know
not
what
a
I mean?
thing.
And that's exactly what he did. You know what I mean? He started kissing her and all of that for the night,
Hmm.
and then she came back wanting some more because she thought they were going to be together. No,
And Harmony was heartbroken.
of course she was heartbroken, but he didn't like her. You know why? Because what happened? What happened? When he was in his deathbed and he didn't know what's going on, and his real heart came out, and who was there? His girl. You know what I mean? The one he really likes, but he's too soft to be real. So what is he gonna do? He goes and gets the easy piece that's just throwing it at him because he don't got to tell her nothing. He don't got to say nothing. It's just coming at him like, "What's popping?" Why? Because now I've knocked some goals out, and now I'm a superstar. You know what I mean? It's just easy. It's easy, but in my opinion, go with what's difficult because that's what's gonna last. That girl actually cares about you. The other one's just pretending.
Yeah. And as soon as the other girl shows up, she's like, "Oh, I bet you just like him because he's interesting now."
Yeah,
And she's like, "Bitch, he was poisoned."
I
How is
mean,
that
no,
a
but
big
here's the
deal?
other thing though. But the girl liked Ron before that anyway. You know
She
what I
did. She had
mean?
a crush
Because she
on him.
was,
Yeah.
yeah, but she definitely like she was feeling him way before that. So, um, there's definitely something in Ron that she liked, aside from the him being a goalie and all of that. It's
So
just him being a
probably the hair.
yeah, probably. But I think that the goalie situation just kind of, you know, made just made her like him even more. Made him a little bit more attractive.
Well, you know who I hated even more? Draco. This movie. He
Mm-hmm.
was a huge, huge jerk this whole movie. But I did. There were some similarities between him and Harry, in
Mm-hmm.
that he seemed very isolated this film.
Yeah.
We see him.
Yeah,
excuse me,
you don't see him with
get
his goons.
you don't see him with his goons. You see him get tasked with murdering Dumbledore
Mm-hmm.
by the Death Eaters, since his
Mm-hmm.
dad his mom is affiliated. His mom is also cousins with uh, Bellatrix as well. They're all cousins: Sirius, Bellatrix, and Draco's mom.
See now, Draco. Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, you remember that stomp out in the on the train?
Yes, that was
Ooh,
wild.
yo,
That
that was
that
wild.
that was wild.
I was
Like,
like, yo,
you know,
if it
no.
wasn't for Luna, Harry would be back in London.
Wait, what's the name of the in Game of Thrones? The little blonde boy that was that was just insufferable.
The little blonde boy. Oh,
Yeah, he was like a prince.
Joffrey.
Yes, this was
He's
very.
definitely
He
giving
was.
Joffrey realness.
Yes, very very Prince Joffrey vibes.
You're just really giving, because obviously Game of Thrones definitely ripped off some of the scenic shots from
I
this.
mean, you know, it's just
But
that
that
this
Draco
show.
Joffrey connection, that's like really, really obvious. Actually, I didn't even consider it at first.
Yeah, like it just feels so much like this kid, and the fact that they're both blondes and like insufferable is hilarious to me. You know, and then his parents are both blondes. I wouldn't be surprised if they're related. You know, because
Yeah, because they're a pure blood family, so there was some intermixing back then. There had to have been up there in the ancestry.
ah,
They might even be cousins too. We don't even know. 'Cause it's all that pure blood.
yeah, that kind of. Oh god. All right.
Anyway, we see him kind of acting like a loner this movie,
Mhm.
but Harry just will not let up. Like he's like, look, I know you got something going on. I know Snape's in on it. He's been covering for you all semester. Like, what the hell's going on, Dumbledore? What the hell's going on? Meanwhile, Dumbledore is going all around the world collecting these Horcruxes, which we
Mm,
learned this film uh, are part of a very rare curse, a very rare spell um, that you can break apart your soul and put pieces of it in different items of
mm,
significance to you,
mhm,
and then that is a way to stay immortal. um and Dumbledore's going all around the world, and he's ducking and diving and hitting it because he's collecting all of or information pertaining to Voldemort's Horcruxes so that he
mhm.
can finally destroy them, and leave him with nothing.
Yep.
Now, there are a couple Horcruxes we're already familiar with. One is the diary. I believe the diary was from film two.
Yes.
Film two.
Yes. Yes.
Um, and I know there's, I think the snake, I think the basilisk was one. I think that was from film three. So he's got a couple of them, but he still has to get one
Mm,
or information about one. Um, and so on that journey, he decides, okay, I'm gonna bring you Harry, and no matter what I say, make sure I drink all of this uh, well water or whatever,
mm,
because I got to get to the bottom and get to the center of the Tootsie Pop. So Harry's like, okay, fine, let's go. So they go to this weird island lagoon place, and he's drinking from the water fountain during a pandemic, mind you. He's drinking from a water fountain. He's drinking from a water fountain. And he's like, please, no more, Harry. I'm begging you. My throat's on fire. Harry's
mm.
like, here's a straw, bitch, because you told me to make you drink this whole thing.
Oh,
And
shit.
he makes him drink it despite him begging. It's so pitiful and pathetic. And it's also like, it's not that much. Just put it in your water bottle, sis.
Mm,
How hard is it? Hello, like you just drank 2 bottles of water on the way here. You can't drink two more?
facts.
Jesus. Whatever. He drinks it all. And Shit's going down. White Walkers have descended upon the lagoon and they're climbing up on the little aisle. And Harry's like, "Oh my god!" And they're climbing after them and they're pulling on them and they're like dead and gross and gnarled. They're kind of like a mix between White Walkers and Grayscale
Okay.
from Lord of the Rings, Lord of the
Mm-hmm.
Rings, from Game of Thrones. You saw was
Mm-hmm.
from Game of
I know what
Thrones,
you
and they're
mean.
kind of gross. And whatever by the magical love, shablam there about his hair or whatever. So then they get the tea, right? What is it that they find at the fountain? Which one is it? Do you remember what Horcrux it was? I think it was a
No, there
ring.
was a
Was it
ring.
a
There was a
ring? It was
book.
the ring.
No, yeah, yeah, it was a ring. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. There's a
one of them
ring.
was a
There's a
Horcrux.
book and something else. Well, I
One of them
think
was a
it's the ring.
Horcrux. Something's going on. It's weird. Whatever. They accomplished the mission. Yes, girl. High five. They get back to Hogwarts. And something's going on. This is eerie feeling just hovering in the air. It just doesn't feel right. Doesn't feel good.
Mm,
So Dumbledore goes to the clock tower. That's an important place for some
mm,
reason.
mm-hmm.
Goes to the clock tower and he sees Draco there and he's like, "What you doing here?" And Draco's like, I it, uh, uh, and he's like, "Well, you need to get back in the house. I mean, you need to go
Mm,
back to your dorm because what the hell you
facts.
doing out here?" And he's like,
Exactly.
"Come to kill you," and it's a hot mess. And two Death Eaters pop up, Bellatrix and I guess Snape. I can't really tell. Like Snape is with the Death Eaters. He made a promise. He's looking out for Draco. At the same time, and he's promised to accomplish Draco's task if he doesn't get to. At the same time, he's been training with Harry. He's been corresponding with Dumbledore. He's been doing all this plotting and planning. They've been having private discussions. Like, can't really tell. I guess he's a double agent.
I'm, I'm, I'm. I feel that way. I definitely do. You know why? Because I got a feeling there's gonna be more in the next movie, according to this. You know what I mean? Oh wow. Okay, so apparently, okay, I've been left alone. So now, what I think is that in the next movie, there's gonna be a little bit more to this, because Snape ends up, kind of like being a double agent in the sense. Oh, hey, welcome back. All right. So Snape ends up being like a double agent in a sense, but then at the same time, you could kind of see that he doesn't want to do it, because you see him talking to the old blonde, telling him that he doesn't want to do it, that he doesn't want to do this, he doesn't want to be a part of it, he wants out, da 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 da, and a lot of it like he had to be forced to. So there's parts of him that don't necessarily want to partake, but then at the same time, he's not necessarily sad to see Harry in pain. You know what I mean?
Well, Harry's hiding at the
Mm,
bequest of Dumbledore, um, because Dumbledore is like, he got a master plan,
mhm.
and he's got some stuff happening in the back on the back end. So Snape's in there. Bellatrix is egging on Draco. Do it, do it, do
Uh,
it. She's just got the worst
mhm,
voice, the most evil, bitter, just
mhm.
voice. It's just very evil, and it feels almost like the moment compels Snape to, instead of Draco, do the deed, so that Draco would not have to do it. But
So now, but
apparently, Dumbledore had to die in that moment. It's very Tony Stark in game. Like there was no other
you know,
way. He
I
had to
I
die.
I feel okay. Maybe it's the wrestling fan in me, but a part of me feels like that was a work. I feel like somehow Dumbledore is gonna come back. I feel like
Mm,
he's not dead. I feel like there's going to be some kind of Phoenix situation that either that makes him be born again or whatever, or brings him back, or just something. I don't think that Snape. I think that Snape did something to make it seem like he's dead, but he's not dead. You know what I mean? I think that's what Snape did, because mind you, that look on his face when he did it didn't necessarily seem like somebody that was, And then I think that they used Malfoy. And Malfoy clearly didn't have the guts to do something like that. But I
He's a
think that they
kid.
no, but what I mean, I think that I feel like Dumbledore and Snape set this up. That's what I
Mm.
feel like as a Muggle watching up to this point. I feel like they set those things up. Harry was exactly where he was supposed to be. Notice how Snape shows up exactly where Harry is, tells Harry to shut up, to stay quiet and stay exactly where he is. Then all of a sudden shows up and then does the deed. I got that feels planned. You know what I mean? That's why I
It
feel like in the
yeah.
next movie there's going to be revelations to all of this. So I'm very curious to see what happens next.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be revelations. I'm going to tell you, I think Dumbledore is dead, and I think it was part of the plan. The reason I think that he's definitely dead is because the spell that was used on him is Avada Kedavra, which apparently there's very little you can do to block it.
Mm.
And it is a death spell. There's like,
Oh, okay. I
it's
didn't.
like, it's almost unblockable.
Mm.
Um, I couldn't find anything online that said, oh, by doing this you can counter. There's no counter, like you're
Oh
dead.
wow! Wait,
And
wait, hold up! It's that serious? Like you can?
yeah, and it's also the spell that Bellatrix used to kill Sirius in the last movie.
Wow, yo,
So
that's
while it
I
was
didn't know.
way
I
more
didn't know the.
dramatic,
I didn't know the spells were documented in a thing. Like this
oh
is
yes,
insane.
oh
Wow.
yes, it's not just Lumos.
I wonder how many people. Damn, no wonder these wands are so expensive. And
Hello, yeah.
yo,
Well,
that's
these ones I
crazy.
don't know because they ain't got no real magic, but
That's what I'm saying. Like you paying $80 for a freaking for
yeah, for a
one for a piece of
replica,
stick.
no.
Like yo, I'm about to go outside and cut a switch and use it to play Harry Potter. You know what I'm saying?
You have to
Like,
have a magical feather in it or whatever.
all right, well, we got pigeons though, so we'll find one. But you know what I'm saying, like, still, like, that's crazy.
Well, face crack of the century, Dumbledore has died.
Mm,
At Snape's hand, even worse.
facts.
Crazy, 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 wild, sad,
Hmm.
heartbreaking.
Hmm.
Um, and that's kind of where we end in this
Yep.
one.
Yep.
Another cliffhanger, really sad.
Yeah, but I'm ready for the next one.
Everybody put their wands up for one time for the real one. Dumbledore, uh, waving from side to side, whatnot. Light up a spliff, pour one out. You know, all that for Dumbledore. For Double D is what we called him. Um, it's a really sad one, but again, we're starting to see the duality that is Harry. He's got this light-hearted, loving, kind side, and he's got this dark, jaded, embittered side. I can't wait to see which side prevails. But he's
Well,
really
I
starting
mean,
to go through a lot, and he's starting to internalize a lot of the sadness happening around him.
well, a lot of the snake, some of the snake is coming out of him too.
Hmm.
And just like Dumbledore told him, like, yo, when you mess around with stuff, it has effects.
Yep.
So, mm. And then the other thing, like, just like Tom, because like in this movie, you learned a lot about Tom, a
Yep.
whole lot about Voldemort. Like
A lot
this,
more about his childhood.
I mean, this movie actually felt a little bit Anakin Skywalker, um,
Mm.
because like the flashbacks with Tom, and learning more about Tom. And mind you, Tom, whoever played young Tom,
Hmm.
wow, like dude is just I don't know, like slippery, slimy, and just
Hmm.
there's just something evil about him. Like I don't know if you ever saw the movie The Omen. like that
Oh
little
yeah,
Damien, like he just feels
yeah.
so like,
It's
you
all for
know,
you, Damien.
yeah, like that kind of thing. Like, oh yeah, oh that lady was crazy. Yeah, yeah, but yeah, you know what I mean. Like that movie, that kid just felt that way. And it just brought a lot of depth into Voldemort's character. And I'm just curious to see more because I feel like a lot of this, and mind you, it's been 6 movies so far. A lot of this has just been a build up to like the main event. And I'm curious to see where the main event is. Like, and I'm using wrestling terms, but I got a feeling there's gonna be like a big, another big Harry versus Voldemort
Yeah.
battle of the wands.
There's definitely going to be a final showdown. We will cover that next time on
Mm,
UPRE. Let me
yep.
get a thumbs up from you for this one. And the first one, yes. Okay, thumbs up from me as well for both
Mhm.
Order of the Phoenix and the Half Blood Prince. Which,
Yep.
hey, we didn't spoil the biggest part about this last one is that the whole time that uh, Harry is using this textbook that has all these secrets and different cut whatever clues and what notes
Mhm.
about potions, they're kind of pitching it as Dumbledore's old textbook or
Mhm.
something.
Mhm.
And it turns out it's actually Snape's old textbook,
Yep.
um, which we find out when Harry tries to use one of his own spells against him, and Snape is like, "You dare use my own spell? I'm the
Mhm.
Half Blood Prince." And I'm like, "Whoa!
Facts.
First of
That
all,
was crazy.
half blood, you're part Muggle." I
Mhm.
really didn't register that. Maybe I missed that part in
For
his
real.
introduction, but
Mm.
yeah, the fact that he's part Muggle is wild. And part two, a part Muggle killed Dumbledore only under some manipulation that Dumbledore could have masterminded. Because otherwise, what? That doesn't make no sense. I don't get it.
I don't
Not
know
to
something
hate on that.
about
Not
that.
to hate on Half Bloods, but I'm just saying, like, it's Dumbledore we're talking
I
about.
mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Dumbledore put himself in a what was in the Hulu? Is it Hulu?
Horcrux
Yeah,
in a
yeah,
Hulu.
yeah. Horcrux, Horcrux. You know what I mean? Hey! Don't hate. There could be a dumb. Listen, Dumbledore could do his own show, and it could go on Hulu.
It could go on Hulu. That is certainly right. Well, I'll be looking forward to that. But until next time, which will be this Thursday at probably 9 o'clock,
Yes,
we'll be reviewing Dead Silence,
yes.
our third installment of our Puppets on Film,
Mhm.
January. I'm so excited. This is my pick. It's a little goofy, but quite fun. Lots of jump scares, which are the best kind.
Nice.
And make sure you tune in Thursday night again for Dead Silence.
Mm,
And next Tuesday, we'll be reviewing the final installment of the Harry Potter Legacy series.
yes.
It'll be 7 and 8. It's a 1 part, 2 part, which I guess you'll love, Vic, because you
Yeah.
love sequels.
Well, I mean, it's literally we're just doing. I mean, you could just say that we're doing the end.
We're
You know,
doing the end.
because it's like it's 2 movies that apparently are connected, but all of these movies are connected. It's like, they call it like a part one and a part two, but everything here is connected. Like you can't watch
Very
this
bad.
movie without watching the first movie. I'm sorry, like it's impossible.
Very bad.
Mm.
Well, oh, last but not least, Harry got his first kiss from Ginny this last movie, and I was
Ow,
so proud of both of them.
ow.
She pulled out that room of requirement so fast when her and Dean broke up. Like I said, room of requirement is
Mm,
a requirement for making out at Hogwarts. And that's
facts.
exactly what they did. But we're
I
proud
love
of
it.
him.
We finally get
They're
to see them.
they're starting to blossom in their relationship, which is so cute.
Yes, and Hermione and Ron, which is beautiful.
Ew! It's like brother and sister. Gross.
No, but I mean, like she liked him from the
I
first
know.
movie. You know what I
I
mean? You
know.
could see that when he hated on her and she got all emotional. You know what I
I
mean?
know.
She always liked him, so that's she's finally getting her man. I'm happy for her.
I'm happy for her too, but also, ew, Ron, old Weasley.
Hey, love is blind.